Hello and welcome to Talkin' Baseball. Happy 5th of July. It's juicy in these streets. Not for my Yanks, though. A lot of other teams playing good ball. We'll talk about them. Tough. Hello. Welcome to Talkin' Baseball. Presented to you by SeatGeek. Use code TALKIN10. My name is Jake Storielli, at Talkin' Jake on all social medias. Trevor Plouffe, at TPlouffe XO6. What is it?
It's just Trevor Plouffe.
Oh.
All the socials.
Okay.
Just Instagram and X. That's it, actually.
X. At Big Baby David, producing his butt off. Happy 5th of July to everyone. Hope you had a happy 4th. Yeah, we'll talk about that for a little bit, but there's also a lot of ball to talk about today, Trev. It's Friday and it's a holiday Friday, which means we'll start with the interleague, but my God, just covering the board. Shout out to St. Louis, shout out to Boston, Houston. What my Reds did to my Yanks. I forgot there was a Talkin' Baseball where I wore a Reds jersey with a Yankee hat. A couple people posted that, and I was like, you got me. You got me there.
Good drop.
Trevor, happy 4th. How are you?
Thank you. I'm doing great. I love the 4th of July. I think it's my favorite holiday. Like Christmas has, a special hold because you get to open presents with your kids and all that good stuff. But as an adult and just like party time, I think it's the 4th of July, man. Summer, everyone's, scantily clad around the pool. You know how it goes. So I had a great day yesterday. Excited to talk some ball. I do want to drop something on you right now to bring your spirits down. You're wearing the Jake Cronenworth hat.
Yeah, sure am.
Got the Instagram follow from Jake Cronenworth.
That's fine. Been there.
And Manny Machado.
Oh.
Yeah.
So were the boys gossiping a little?
I'm hot in San Diego. I think they heard I was coming down there for the Twins series. So, they wanted to show me a little love.
They definitely didn't. Maybe they were having a good chuckle that yesterday I was coming home. We did some 4th of July stuff in Hoboken, met some friends there. Getting back to the city was messy, though. It's 4th of July. It's just pure chaos. They, shut down some of the tunnels for a little bit. It's like, who does that? Anyways, I'm on Uber and back. Got a little holiday buzz going. And I was like, I want to just post something silly on my Insta story. And so I did one of the just, big scrolls. Let's see where we landed. It was a picture of me and Tyler Wade at Cece's Gala. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to post this. Happy 4th, Tyler Wade. And so, we had a nice little convo in the DMs. And so that probably sparked. It was probably just.
Oh, it was you. It was
just the Padres infield was yucking ball. And then they were like, should we follow Trev? Yeah, let's follow and unfollow. If you guys follow us, reminder. All-Star Game. We just sold out of our VIP tickets. It's the Tuesday of the All-Star Game. We're in Dallas, Community Beer Co. I've been there before. Dallas Jake has been there before, and there's a story behind it, but I'm saving it for the people that come that day. Come through. It's one of our best events every year, and I have a little bit of information for you, Trev, because I've been telling the people, Chris Rose, Joe's McFly, Shelfie, Trevor Plouffe, myself, King Beebs. John Boy's coming. We were juggling some schedules. We made it work. John Boy's one requirement. Make sure there's a ping pong table so I can play people in ping pong. If you remember.
He does like that.
He likes that. In the All-Star Game in LA. It gives him enough separation that he can kind of be engaged with someone without also having to feel the pressure of what I do. I have a full conversation with everyone, and
you and I
I end up with numbers in my phone that I'm like, I shouldn't have given you my number.
Is Jimmy turning into Howie Mandel? Is he going to get to the point where he's just fist bumps only?
So he gets to have a shared moment with somebody. They'll get a story out of it, and he doesn't really got to talk to him and touch him. He'll say hi to you.
He'll say hi.
Like say hi. But he's excited about ping.
Real quick before we get into
Yuck and Ball.
the interleague,
Yeah,
because it's a holiday Friday. Kendrick Lamar puts out the video. It's bad for Drake in the streets. Toronto also bad. Yeah. Joe's McFly reacting to all this has been my favorite part of this beef. By the way, he's all in on it, and I just thought what it would be like to spend a day with Joe's McFly like in his brain, anime, playing Elden Ring, watching the Yankees game, commenting on these rap beefs. Like he's all over the place.
Father too. It's crazy how
huge piece.
All right, let's talk National League ball. One Piece. That's what you meant. The New York Mets and the Washington Nationals. They played 4, and the power of Grimace was still here. 2 extra inning dubs to kick off the series in 10 innings. David Peterson and Sean Manaea with some good starts. Grimace finally melted in the 4th of July heat as the Nationals take the final 2 games. So we're split in 4, so I don't know how much we can dive. Although, you may hear more about Jake Irvin later. 8 innings, 1 hit, 0 earned runs. James Wood, big. Jesse Winker, pitch hit homer. He loves the Mets. They split 4. Your Los Angeles Dodgers drop 2 out of 3 to the Diamondbacks. Okay, Snakes. Dodgers, they actually have a walk-off win in that first game. They survived the opener and Ryan Nelson for Teoscar to get grouchy on them. But Christian Walker against the Dodgers. Oh my. Trev's got some numbers on that. 4 homers in the last 2 games. That's good. Gabby Moreno's back. 6 hits in those last 2 games. Okay, Snakes, but it's time to get going because the St. Louis Cardinals have just been winning series, and that's the name of the game. They take 2 out of 3 from the Pittsburgh Pirates. It's your guy Gibby in the first game, and my guy Mitch Keller. Okay. But mostly the Sticks got it done. Gorman, Donovan, and Burleson. Are those all the same guy? Is that St. Louis's AI-generated thick lefty? Well, they combined for, 3 plus 4. We'll call that 7 hits. Second game, there's big O'Neal Cruz with the walk-off, although Jared Jones goes on the IL after that game. They say it's not bad. Might just be limiting things. We'll see. But your guy, Andre Palante and Martin Perez go toe-to-toe. Cardinals pull it off in 10 innings. Man, they have some nice splits these days. Speaking of, Philadelphia Phillies lost Bryce, lost Schwartz. They don't care. They took 2 out of 3 from the Cubbies, they keep digging a deeper hole while the Phillies roll on, and part of that reason is Trey Turner's back. 2-homer day, running hard to first, 31.1 on the sprint speed. Him and Alec Boehm, your NL left side of the infield for the All-Star game in Dallas. They put up some big efforts. Cubbies, Happer, Jameson Taillon, Seiya Suzuki light them up in that final game. Can they get something going before the break? Know who's trying? Los Jugador Gigantes. The San Francisco Giants beat the Braves in the ATL. And you know our guy, Elliot Ramos. Every game, he's 2 for 4 with a homer. I looked up his stats. Really good. We'll talk about that. And you know my guy, Hayden Birdsong, pitched in this. And I'm leading the Hayden Birdsong hive. Matt Chapman stays hot. The game the Braves win. Chris Sale, man. He's like entering the Cy Young chat. Good for him. Braves, funky first half, huh? Rockies and Brewers split 4. You know we hate that at Talkin' Baseball. We like seeing Dallas Keuchel out on the mound, and the Brewers traded for the Civ, Aaron Savali as well. So they're getting some starting pitching reinforcements. Man, some highlights in this series. Nolan Jones with a throw. Jake Cave getting the silent treatment. You don't see that for the vet a lot. Meanwhile, the Brewers took a couple home. Yelly with a big day at the office. Colin Reyes, 7 shutout in Coors. We like that. And Trev, The Boston Red Sox, they sweep the Miami Marlins. They rout them in the first 2 games. Crawford and Bayu on the bump. Rafaela has been playing really well lately. Jaron Duran is a nightmare, and we saw that in the final game that they win in 12, exchanging body blows late. Duran, Duran. Red Sox sweep, full pension Piv 7 shut, and the Sox are in the playoffs as today. That's your interleague baseball. God!
You're hot.
Don't come at me around the 4th of July. What are we doing?
Oh, baby. Hey, is Nick Pivetta, like, does he have 10 years? He might.
He's getting close, Trev.
He's getting damn close. He's like, you're a sucker, Plouffe. You don't even have freaking 8 years, you loser. What did you just read? Was
halfway
that
home?
That
I think technically we'll need the National League. There was actually genuine a lot of interleague games, so it's a little tricky. But I'd love some National League standings.
Okay. And because it's the 4th of July weekend, of course, I'm starting in the Central. Milwaukee maintains their division lead, 52-36. They're 6 games above those Cardinals, who have the 3rd best record in all of baseball since May 12th. Okay, they're 45-41. Cincinnati, after the sweep of the Yanks, swept them 42-45. Pirates 41-45. And then the Cubs, man, last place in the division, 40-48. We'll go out west. Dodgers still got that lead over the Padres. They're 53-35, 6.5 games above the Fathers. 48-43 are they. Arizona getting close to the 500 mark. They're 43. What are they going to do at the deadline? 43-44. Giants, I can't say it how you say it. Say it again.
I've changed it to Hugador because I think that's sports team, but it's wrong either way. It used to be Los Hibido, but that's just not a word.
Okay. Giants 43-45 and the Rockies 30-57. And then out east, the Phillies, of course, it's 4th of July. That's where we signed the Declaration of Independence. I think, not too sure on that. Fact check me, Beavers. 57-30, 9 games above the Braves, who are 47-38. The Mets sitting 1 game below 5, 42-43. The Nats 41-46, and the Marlins 30-57. I would change the name of the Marlins if I could.
Okay.
There's so many other things in Florida, like the Marlins.
That's kind of a great point.
Okay. Like the Gators? I don't know. Anyways, in the wild card in the National League, the Braves still holding on to the top spot. They're 2.5 games above the Pods, who have the 2nd spot, and St. Louis holding on to the 3rd spot in the wild card in the National League. They're 2.5 up on the Snakes and the Mets. Giants and Cincy lurking as well. It's still kind of jumbled up there, but the Cards trying to separate themselves. And those are the standings in the National League.
It's incredible. Tough to beat that. I know we're not talking American League right now, although we always kind of are. Man, seeing Seattle, Baltimore, and Cleveland as your division leaders, flashback to 97. That's where my weird brain went. Like I like that. That's what was going on. But that's in the American League. So let's talk some National League baseball. And let's start with, I don't want to start with you. Hey, man, you said we start in the Central, 4th of July, America. St. Louis Cardinals, you dropped that fun fact in there. Like, I don't know, we've kind of been giving them snaps. I feel like we've gotten enamored with the Padres a little bit because we're friends with their infield on Instagram. The fact that they've been playing good ball, I don't know. Has this been under the radar? Because what'd you say, 3rd best record since May 12th? Like almost 2 months now?
Yeah, 30-17 since May 12th, which is the 3rd best record in all of baseball.
Is that the day Kibbe called your ass out for not liking Marmol?
I could go back.
We might have to check the logs on
all right.
that.
Oh, let me just go back real quick because it could be. And I love Gibby. He's Gibby and Evan Longoria are our North Star. They make sure that we stay on path. Yeah. If we stray even a little bit, I'm getting blown up by these guys. So I even got a text from Longo yesterday about the Twins and Royce Lewis, and I was like, dude, it's 4th of July. He's locked in on ball. Love that from Longo. I'll go back in the logs with Gibby. But Card's doing it, man. Like you mentioned the big burly boys out there getting it done, but the pitching's been really good too. I think that's kind of underrated there. Like Palante in the last game, going 7 1-earned run. Like that hasn't been his MO all year long, but they're getting going. Start to win ball games like they're doing, and you get those performances. Let's see when Gibby yelled at me.
Gibby yell check. Yeah, as I, kind of zooming back in on the Cardinals and seeing what I like. Okay, we're 6th in the NL in ERA. I don't love that. But the hitting's not really there. So I guess the pitching is where the majority of the love should be going. And I know, his name doesn't even light up in this series, but Mason Wynn leading the team in WAR at 3.2 as a rookie shortstop. That's pretty nutty there. I don't know. This classic glass half full, glass half empty that they should be getting more out of this offense. That if the pitching holds, I don't know. The Cardinals and the Padres have now opened up a little bit of a gap in the wild card. Cardinals fans, I guess let us know. Has this felt like a great brand of baseball? Because I guess outside looking in, we haven't had a lot of whoa moments. Like these guys are lighting it up. But we're going to talk a lot about rubbers this episode, and they have won the final game of the series 12 times out of the last 13. That helps.
1-run games for them, 16-12 this season after going 17-26 last year. Gibby and I were talking about Ollie Marmol on April 16th, so it was not that. Okay. But around the time they started getting hot, do you know what it was? It was Contreras going
forearm,
out
right?
Hit. That was on May 8th. I asked him, is there going to be any retribution for last night? And he said, no, I haven't heard anything. So, right after that, they started going, which
it's a ballsy text to send, Trev. Like, I know you and Gibby are guys, but, a media man saying, is there retribution coming?
I'm not, I'm in.
I know. I'm in.
So look, sometimes stuff like that, we'll rally a team. You see that from time to time. Your guys go out. I mean, the Phillies are doing that right now. They got a bunch of guys on the IL, and certain guys have to step up, put in new roles, and spark the team. And I don't know if that's what it was for the Cardinals, but dang, man, they deserve the shout. And I will say this: is there somebody else that's had more faith in the Cardinals even through all of this? Yes, I've wanted your manager fired. That's fine. But on the players I've been on, the roster I've been on, and now you guys are making me look very smart. So thank you, St. Louis. Man,
they've, I think JoJo got hit in this series, but they've got a few guys in the bullpen having nice years. And man, we were, I think everyone was slightly critical / interested. Lance Lynn, Sonny Gray, Kyle Gibson.
Yeah.
2.98 ERA for Sonny, 3.88 for Gibby, 3.59 for Lance. All of them with 87.2 plus innings. Like those three guys that they went out and got early for innings have been giving them enough. Lance Lynn, okay, I know we've been asking people to help us understand WAR better. Lance Lynn, 17 games, 87.2 innings pitched, a 3.59 ERA. Has a 0.2 WAR. That's just wrong. I don't care how we're measuring things.
I mean, I don't really understand that either. What's his FIP, I guess I would say? Is he striking enough people out? I think they definitely look at that.
Ask Lance Lynn for his FIP. See what happens.
This is interesting because I'm looking just OPS for the Cardinals. It's not great on the year. I think they're 20th overall in OPS. So it really hasn't been the offense. In May, they were 6th in OPS in all the league. It was only a 725. And then in June, they're all the way back down to 18th. So I guess timely hitting has probably been it. Then the pitching is the 1-run games is something. Go Cardinals, go.
I'm in Lance Lynn's game log. I'm trying to see if there's like a blow up start where you're like, did he give his team no chance, and that's like a -1 on him? There isn't.
It shouldn't even work like that.
It shouldn't work like that. Someone tell me how it works.
The Cardinals are tied for second to last in OPS with runners in scoring position. So what is happening?
Glass half full in St. Louis. I think our guy Lars
The
coming
hits
back.
they are getting are huge or something.
On the other side, and I don't think we need to spend a lot of time on this, but sometimes I get frustrated when players don't really talk in interviews, but I very much get the side of it that you say one wrong thing and that's a bad time. Remember when the Pirates front office told us that they were going to make moves? Go look at where they're at in the standings. Jared Jones banged up. I know they want to limit his innings, and he came out and said, he's like, hey, if I needed to still pitch, I would have kept pitching. So I'm not worried about that, but like the Pirates' prospects for this season have changed significantly in a couple weeks because they are now, if you look at the wild card standings,
they're 4 games back.
4 games back with 4 teams ahead of them. I mean, I know that's not dramatic, and hopefully they're still trying to build something in the next few years, but I don't know. Slippery slope.
When did he say that? Because they got close to 500, but they haven't been 500 since April 27th. So interesting. I mean, look, I would love for them to go at offense, but you have to have those guys healthy and on the mound. You have to be within striking distance of the wild card. It's going to be such a nutty trade deadline. All these teams jumbled up there. You got to decide quickly, I think, what you're going to do as a team. If you're one of those teams that's 4 games out and you got to jump 3 or 4 teams, it's going to have to make some tough calls.
Mets Pirates playing 4, I think. Watch out for that. Trev, also in the National League. Let's do Phillies Cubs. Phillies take 2 out of 3. I'll be honest. I think the 2 storylines for me is Phillies. I've talked about, you go on a hot stretch or a cold stretch before this All-Star break. Look at what my Yankees are currently doing. Look at what the Houston Astros are currently doing. And you can change your whole season's outlook pretty quickly. With Harper, Schwartz going out, I was like, are we going to see Philly for the first time? JT? Are we going to see them kind of limp for the first time this season? And no, they don't, because they're the Phillies and they just don't care. And meanwhile, on the other side, if it's getting dark for Pittsburgh, it's been dark for the Cubs. Your 3rd worst team in the National League.
I think the Phillies are limping, but it's like one of those cool limps when you walk. I'm going to start walking like that. I don't know why. Why do people do that? Like silly.
You just have it. Like if you have that, you have that.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Philly, they're playing good ball. Trey looks good. Hits 2 homers in that first game. Both of them were like just meatballs, though. 94, like middle end. I don't know who was throwing that. It wasn't Mercado. Excuse me, that was their pitcher. Middle in, he gets extended. He couldn't believe he threw that pitch to Trey twice. He also has an RBI single to right field just to boot later in the game. So getting him locked in has been great. Mercado does get his first win of his big league career. That's good for the Phils to have some more pitching depth. And then Bohm's doing it. In the second game, I'm happy the Cubs won that last game in front of what I'm assuming is a sold-out crowd on 4th of July. Our guy, Ian Happ, doing some things. We'll talk about him later. But these are 2 teams. I feel like they're going kind of opposite directions. Like the Cubs got to make a choice. They're one of those teams, Jake. Like they can't sell, dude. I've said that many times on this show. Like if they're selling, then they're selling for the next couple years.
Yeah.
I think. And unless you just give belly up.
Yeah, I mean, I know we've
but the
already.
The rest of the guys are kind of locked in. We've talked about this a lot.
Yeah, and I think you can if it's, I don't want to say scraps because that's rude to the players, but any of the 1-year guys, Yelly gets interesting because he has his options. So I've been looking into a little bit of that. Like those trades can get tricky, but you can do some player to be named later stuff that like if you were to trade him and he opts in, then you get player X.
Sure. Sure.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess, did the Cardinals sold a little bit last year, right? Like their hand got forced and they're back this year. So I don't think it's like blow it up, but they're 6 games back and every team who's not the Rockies or the Marlins are ahead of them.
Right. Yeah, I mean they're are you declaring them dead? Did you just do that?
It's close.
I kind of did it.
I love the good people of Chicago a little too much. I'll give them to the All-Star break. But
they got to get going.
Tough. I like Ian Happ. My guy PCA has a couple big games in this. Like my fingerprints are all over this team. Jameson Tyone. That I want the Cubs to be good, but something's amiss.
Great counsel. Did he kill the Cubs?
Coming up at 5. Let's go. Man, there's a lot of sauce in
Giants
here.
Braves.
Your guy Elliot Ramos is the best player in baseball, and I think we just need to
we don't talk
acknowledge
about
that.
him enough. Yeah, people always tell us that. I love in the first game for the Giants, they win the bread games, as you like to say.
Yeah.
You see Riley and Murphy go back to back. I'm like, oh, here we are. Atlanta's here. And then they're like, no, we got Jorge Soler and late night Lamont. They go back to back. And then Ramos hits the homer that he doesn't even know is a homer for the go-ahead runs, which is great. He's a stud. Giants win that game. Then they get sailed. They get Chris sailed a little bit game 2. That's fine. He's been looking really good. Riley seems for the Braves on the Braves part of this. It seems like Riley's starting to get going. That's nice. Nice little series here. And then the Giants turn to their guy. Hey, you split the first game is 1-1, and then you got Logan Webb coming in. That's a pretty good formula. He goes 7, 2 earned runs. Then it's Ramos again and Chappie, and they take the series from the Braves.
Yeah, Atlanta, we love you. You guys have been a powerhouse throughout the history of talking baseball, essentially. What's up? I know there's some injuries and stuff, but we are now... I thought this was going to be the part of the year where they maybe close the gap on Phillies a little bit. That hasn't happened. Instead, the wild card teams have kind of closed in on them. The Padres are 2 games back of the Braves. Like... We've got other teams lurking. I know it's a little too early to look at playoff picture or the simulator. But yeah, Braves, I thought it was coming. They had a nice stretch there where they were winning a lot of series, but I mean, I think we're looking at a wild card's Braves team, which I don't know if I fully believe that. And now they're dancing with the wrong people. They're supposed to be dancing with the Dodgers and the Phillies. They're dancing with the Padres and the Cardinals.
It's an interesting stat that the adult put on our sheet. It's kind of crazy. Their offense was so freaking good last year that their record when they allowed 4 or more runs last year was 43-51. So, like, again, you're allowing 4 or more runs. They still were able to put up a respectable record. I mean, 43-51 in those games. In games this year where they allow 4 or more runs because the offense isn't there for them, they're 6-31.
Yeah. It's bad.
That's a huge difference.
That's bad.
Okay.
Trev, hey, grab bag hodgepodge. I hate splitting 4, and the Mets and Nats did that along with the Brewers and the Rockies. Red Sox sweep, which is definitely a combo. I don't know if we want to save that for the AL. And then Christian Walker just dropping that. Oh.
Just relax on that one, all right?
I'll just relax on that one then.
Yeah.
My Snakes have a lot of bodies back. You got to make that record look just a little better. Get above 500. NL Wildcard might have juice, and I didn't think it was gonna.
It's going to have juice. What do you mean it's not going to have juice?
I thought it was going to be ugly juice. I thought we were going to be talking about an 83 team making the playoffs. Like, Cardinals are winning games. The Padres look good. I think the Diamondbacks are going to have a big second half. Mets,
I do too.
Mets have had a good formula for a little bit. Reds just swept the Yankees. Giants, I was interested. I had a head tilt moment. I talked about it on Wake and Jake. America's GM, Jim Bowden, was like, the Giants are buying this deadline. Sometimes we zoom out a little bit and we're like, I don't know about this Giants team. He's like, think about the investment they did this offseason. Chapman, Snell, Soler, Jung-Hoo Lee. And when you got Robbie
They don't
Ray.
have any of those guys. Jung-Hoo Lee's out. Snell is out. What are they going to do?
He's coming.
Okay.
And when Elliot Ramos, I know he's become a legend on this show, he's been one-dotting for a month. Do we talk about Puerto Rican baseball players enough? I don't think so.
Good point. They're technically American ball players.
Kind of.
They don't consider themselves American ball players. No, they don't.
No.
Their own WBC team.
We got
Arizona. We'll just talk real quick because I think they deserve a little love. They easily could have swept the Dodgers at home. And if it wasn't for that last inning, it was Will Smith, Freddie Freeman, Teoscar Hernandez within 6 pitches.
Yeah.
To end the game, they would have. Jock Peterson, saying this used to be my house with the homer. He didn't say that, but
yeah. I think
so. Snakes are looking good, man. We'll talk more about the Snakes.
I think Dalton ended up on Snakes radio because he jinxed it or something. I don't. This whole world we've weaved.
We jinxed Paul Sewald.
This whole world we've weaved has gone 2 in. Hey, shout out to our Puerto Rican family. Your guy Jose Miranda has turned it on. Elliot Ramos. Let's see who else is it. Willie Castro.
Carlos Correa.
I mean, if you start going back, Barrios, Correa, Lindor, Eddie Rosario. We love you down in PR.
Where's he going to be?
I'd love to go down to PR for a weekend. Maybe I will. Feel like I do.
Weren't people moving there? All the crypto people were moving there or something like that?
I don't know. Which
is us. We should have.
Right, that's true. That is that is us. Yeah, one of those islands. Not Bahamas. I don't know.
You don't know what you're talking about right now. Just stop.
Talking out of my butt. Boston, let's talk about you in the AL recap. And let's talk about you with Booking.com, Booking.yeah. Because I'm going up to Boston. I think is it the weekend or two after the All-Star game. We're sitting on the Monster. And Booking.com, whatever U.S. city you're looking to go to, you can have a good time in any U.S. city that has a ball team. You can have a good time there. Ask Trev. DM him about some of his stories, some of those flights. And Booking.com, whether you're looking hotels, bed and breakfast, vacation rentals, resorts, so much more, you're going to find the perfect stay, maybe even in a rival team's city. So right now, head to Booking.com. It's summer. You kind of have to do something. You start getting the itch pretty quick if you're not. Go to Booking.com. Go book something. It's the official accommodation partner of Major League Baseball on the site or in the Booking.com app. You guys know Booking.com. So when you're traveling, go there.
I'm traveling today. I use Booking.com.
Where are you heading?
I'm not telling you.
Yorba Linda?
Yeah. How do you know Yorba Linda?
I don't know. Fun words.
I love that for you.
Just fun words. So my brain's like, I like
fun
that.
Words.
Let's do some.
What language is Yorba Linda? Is that Spanish?
Let's do some interleague.
Okay.
Starts out the Seattle Mariners. I mentioned 1997. They hosted the Baltimore Orioles. And man, you know what turned my head on this? We talk about the Mariners pitching, right? Seattle, that's what they got. They got outpitched in the first 2 games. Grayrod outduels Kirby in the first one. Dean Kremer off the IL, BBD's Dean Kremer. He outpitches Logan Gilbert in the first one. They salvaged the series on Corbin Burns Day, which had to be scary for Mariners fans. But Julio Rodriguez down in the lineup gives them a good game. And J.P. Crawford has some stats with the bases loaded that are just silly, and I like that a lot for him. But the Orioles kind of took it to him. Mariners salvaged the last game. Two ships heading in different directions on top of the respected divisions. Also, two teams heading in different directions. The Tampa Bay Rays, they took down the Royals. What I liked from this series, the Rays showed that they could win in different ways. They outpitch him in that first game. Zach Littell, your guy. As the Rays offense, Brandon Lau, Isaac Paredes both go yard. Royals win that second game behind Michael Waka 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 and Bobby Witt. But in the last game, 10-8. Everyone's knocking the ball around the park. Your guy, Johnny DeLuca, 3 for 5. Brandon Lau, again, 3-hit day with a homer. BBD's Ben Rortvedt. Rays take the series. They're above 500, and as of today, the Royals would not be in the postseason because of those Red Sox. The Houston Astros are back. They take 3 out of 4 from the Blue Jays. Hunter Brown is dealing again. He's got some nice splits. Yordan, yum. He has a few big games in this series. The Blue Jays won game 2. They went up 7-0. George Springer, Horowitz. That game finished 7-6. Some tight pitches late. Otherwise, it's the Astros the rest of the way. And boy, are they hot. Speaking of hot, the Cincinnati Reds sweep the Yankees. And I don't know if they're hot because they kind of hadn't won a series in a month. More so the Yankees searching for the bottom as they lose all 3 of these games. They fight back in each one, but it's not enough each time. Luis Gil's magic has worn off. Stroman gives up 3 homers. Hey, Ellie De La Cruz was a sight to see. The stadium was buzzing about him, was there on Tuesday. Noelvi Marte is back. He hits the big homer in the second game. And Jonathan India cannot stop hitting if he wanted to. Reds trying to keep things above water. The Minnesota Twins, they take 2 out of 3 from the Detroit Tigers. Trev, I'm starting to believe just a little bit. They outlast Skubal in game 1, although Royce Lewis gets banged up again, but Correa is going nuts. And I mentioned Puerto Rico, Miranda, 5 for 5 in that last game. How about him bouncing back after a tough last year? Ryan Jeffers stays hitting in the Nightmare Bailey Ober. It was too much, except in the second game. Riley Green with 3 hits. And you know I'm starting to fall for Justin Henry Malloy because we just like a hyphenated name on this show. But it's not enough for Detroit. They're entering the bad spot in the standings. The Rangers, they're hosting San Diego, trying to keep up. They roll them in game 1. Nate Dogg Evaldi, 7-shut piece. Nate Lowe, good day to be a Nathan. Bad day to be a Nathan's hot dog, although we kind of boycotted, right? Joey Chestnut, Kobayashi. Speaking of boycotted, that Padres infield that loves us, they balled out the final 2 games. Also, David Peralta, the freight train, with a big home run, his first of the year. Guard Dogs, they beat the White Sox 2 out of 3. Let's be honest, you might not care, except Stephen Kwan has become eligible, and he's now leading the American League in batting average. Helps when you go 3 for 4 in that last game. Daniel Schneemann doing stuff. Guardians fans, let me know. Not super familiar if we're being real. Eric Fettiwap with a good start. He could be on your team post-deadline. I guess so could Maldonado, too. And the series everyone's talking about, the Oakland Athletics. They sweep the Anaheim Angels. Joey Estes, complete game shut piece. Under 100 pitches. JP Sears and the boys shut him out in that final game. Brent Rooker's numbers are incredible. Someone go trade with him if he's on the table. Angels, I was just getting happy for you guys, and then this happens. And that's what happened in the interleague.
Okay, let me read the standings because then I got something to get off my chest.
Yeah, please.
I am so upset right now. Okay, what did you just read? That's the American League. And because it's the 5th of July, I'm starting in the Central. Cleveland maintaining their lead in the division. They have guys you just have never heard of coming up in big spots. Schneemann, that sounds like a Willy Wonka character. I love it. 54-31 for the Guard Dogs. My Twins, 49-38. They literally played in a lake. I'm trying to get Target Field called the lake. They played in a lake. Okay. Royals, 48-41. Tigers, 39-48. And then the White Sox, 25-64. We'll go out west. Seattle, 48-41. But those Astros, 45-42, 2 games back. They are coming. Texas, 39-48. The Angels, after getting swept, 36-50. Oakland, 33-56. In the East, Baltimore now with a 2-game lead over your Yanks, 55-32 for the Orioles. Yankees 54-35, excuse me. And then Boston, man, do you remember when they were just like a 500 team and they couldn't get it going? They are 8 games over at 47-39 now. Tampa Bay sitting 1 game over 500. We need them to go a little bit.
Okay.
44-43, and then Toronto 39-48 at the bottom of the division. What are they going to do in the wild card? My friend Jake, your Yanks currently hold the top spot in the wild card. They are up on my Twins, who have the second spot in the wild card, and then Boston a half game up on both on Kansas City, Seattle if they were to get there, for that third wild card spot. Houston within striking distance, Tampa within striking distance. Everybody else, Texas, Detroit, Toronto, kind of out of it already. Jake, they're 8.5 games back, respectively, of the AL wild card, and those are the standings in the American League.
Fantastic.
Stop before you say anything.
Right.
Stop it.
You had something you want to say. What do you got?
Congratulations, A's sweep the Angels. Again, we're probably not going to dive too deep into that. There's some good players on these teams, but we know where their standings are. Joey Estes.
Yeah.
Complete game. Actually really fun to watch pitch. He's got some nasty stuff. He hops off the mound. I was fully ready to come and say, new short king alert. This guy's awesome. If you growed your hair, what am I, 5 years old? If you grew your hair out a little more, Jake, this could be you. And then I go on his baseball reference page, and it says he's 6'2", 190. First of all, no way he's 190. If he's 6'2", this guy's 230. He's a thick boy.
Okay.
He's got tree trunks. 190 is out of the... Jake, I am 6'1".
Yeah.
Like pushing 200, and you know how skinny I am. You can't tell me that this guy is 6'2".
Yeah, he's got a bum on him.
And maybe it's just the high socks throwing me off. I don't know, man. But does he have a small torso and long legs? Is that what it is? Like
Interesting.
We need some confirmation. I'll reach out.
We got a moment there where he was standing. I think he was standing next to Soderstrom, and they looked similar heights. And Soderstrom's listed 6'2", so I don't know. I think he's got so much funk going around with that look.
Maybe
that
he got me. Like, I don't know. I think he's got a short torso.
Okay.
Maybe I'm off on this one. I'm sorry.
God, there has been a lot of talk about my hair lately. I'm glad you talked about him. I was going to give him half a standout because people don't really want to hear, but they deserve to hear. Your guy, Lawrence Butler, with a big series, too. Good for him. I think a smart team is going to trade for Brent Rooker because he's
a stud right now.
Balling.
He's always been a stud, but he's going off.
He's balling, and he has some years of control that I think you can do that right. In the American League, let's start out in the East. Screw the Central for now. Orioles and Mariners. Hey, our 2 division leaders. Orioles more recently. Mariners have been holding for a while, but it's starting to starting to get tight. And yeah, I mean, I said it on my way through, but we always have this just mental Orioles thing that we don't love their pitching for whatever reason. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's just because the hitting is so beautiful that we get caught up in that. You know, I've got Yankee fans telling me like, oh, here comes the Orioles crochet trade. We're dead. I don't know if the Orioles think they need him. I mean, every team would use him, and they have the assets to get him. But they just outpitched Seattle with Grayrod, the former top pitching prospect in baseball, and Dean Kremer, who's been a really good MLB pitcher for a couple years off the IL. So that was, I mean, there's been a lot of oh damn about the Orioles in this office recently, but they are who we thought they were.
I'm going to go and call that, I'll say, yeah, you're right, because they are a 3.42 ERA overall. They're second in all of baseball with that. They just kicked my guy, Swervin' Irvin, to the pen because that fuck Cade Povich is there now. I mean, leave my guy Irvin alone. It's the second year in a row you guys have done that. That's fine. I like you, Cade Povich. That's a term of endearment on this show if you don't know. Only you and Randall Gritchick get that. I don't know why we don't. I mean, I think we give him enough credit. Who says we don't?
I think we say
Ray-Rod's a star. Dean Kremer's doing his thing. Like what do we?
But if I told you the Orioles are trading at the deadline, you'd probably jump to pitching and not hitting.
They don't really need anything.
It's not wrong.
I would say go get some more bullpen help. They've talked internally about bringing in a starter for some depth. You know, they've had some injuries at that position this year, but they continue to have guys come in and step up. So I don't know.
Hey, I know this has been discussed, and maybe there's just a little bit of salt here. The Ryan O'Hearn witchcraft they've done is such. I'm gonna say bullshit. Sorry, kids. Ryan O'Hearn, 5 years, 342 games with Kansas City, 219, 293, 683 OPS. 2 years with Baltimore, 183 games, 289, 333, and 812 OPS. He's got a 139 OPS plus this year. That's not cool. I don't like that for me.
I'm going to a Savant page. I want to see if what he's doing differently. Then he must be like attacking something different. He couldn't hit fastballs apparently with the Royals because he was a -5 run value in 2021 and -4 run value in 2022, and this year he's a +6 run value. He's hitting 329 on them after hitting 211. And 260 against the four-seam fastball. So maybe they just got him on time, Jake. I don't know.
Get your foot down.
No, don't get your foot down. Just get on time. Don't listen.
Nice. That's Coach Trev.
Just get on time. Whatever that means to you.
God, that's how you do it. Hey, sorry to Mariners fans who you guys, some of the splits recently are very bad. I think they've lost.
We're gonna talk about the Mariners in a sad fashion later in the show.
Mariners have lost 11 of 14, so that's awful. Hey, JP Crawford, big part of this show. Trev, bases loaded over the past 2 years, 636 batting average, 37 RBI. It's
clutch.
It's a good time to be hitting. Gunnar homered in the last game. That's good.
I was gonna say, Baltimore outpitched Seattle, but it's Seattle's offense, man.
It's a factor.
It continues to be the star of the show in all the worst ways possible.
Ooh. Oh God.
Am I wrong?
You're not wrong. I've tried to give them their flowers, and I'm an offensive guy during the MLB regular season, and
they're slugging 392. Jake,
Julio got slid down to 7th.
It could be good for him. The Twins did that to Byron Buxton. It sparked him.
Right. No, I hope so. But man, we we keep looking for him to come out of it, and he's got some awful numbers in the past 2 weeks, so hopefully it does spark him. I guess, sorry to Seattle, this probably hasn't been your best couple minutes of programming, so let's do Houston now, and we'll just kind of rip the Band-Aid, because they beat up on Toronto. Don't hit that second tee. There was another stat in here that the Blue Jays only scored in like 1 out of 39 innings against Houston at one point because they got no hit by Ronel Blanco. The Blue Jays had played 36 innings against the Astros this season, and they scored in just 2 innings at one point. That was starting in the first game of this series. Houston takes 3 out of 4. They're getting the pitching. Yainer Diaz is just ripping the cover off the baseball. Blue Jays have lost 12 of 16. Houston is doing the opposite of that. They've won 12 of their last 14.
A ton coming on Houston later in the show. I don't want to just go into them too much, but Toronto to lose 3 of 4 here to get you back down where you're sitting. How many games back of the wild card? 8.5. Like decisions, man. What I don't know. They had their offense was rocking and rolling. It comes into this series. Kind of gets shut down quite a bit by Houston's pitching. And that's kind of their calling card. There was one example of Alvarez in the second game hit a 3-0 homer or a 3-0 home run against Barrios on a changeup. That's when you know things are just bad. Or Alvarez is just that good. Yeah. He's hunting heaters, 3-0, gets a changeup and still hits a home run. He's a freaking menace. I almost choked on my own spit right there.
Toronto and Texas. I'm not sure how much we'll talk about. Well, we've been talking Padres infield a lot, but Toronto and Texas, like I don't know what you want to hear or what you believe in. Like Texas won it all last year, so I guess that's a little differently that if they were to go through the deadline and say, screw it, we've got a lot of high price guys on this team, maybe they find something for 2 months and write a different tale. I'd be okay with that. Toronto, unless you guys pull off one of these 12 for 14s or something, it's done. I mean, nothing about this team excites. Like we talk about the Rays have had injuries. Houston's had injuries. Hell, Texas still has injuries. Like Toronto, a lot of the cats have been there for a little bit. I don't know. Uninspired is what I see.
Look, dude, the truth of the situation is, leading up into this time, you're still hunting a postseason berth. You're still hunting, getting back in this. But now it's July 5th. You understand the trade deadline is 3 weeks away, and you're looking at the standings, and you're like, we're nowhere close to competing this year. So, yeah, maybe there's a little bit of desperation thought. Yeah, we can run off 12 in a row. Like maybe you rally the troops with that. But these guys are, they're adults. They got brains. They understand, like, this is not the year. And it's got to be frustrating for them and for Blue Jays fans because they've brought in people, like, and just hasn't worked. And it happens. It happens. And I'm very, very curious to see the direction of that franchise over the next, 3 weeks and next couple of years to see what they do. They have big decisions.
And Toronto, like I love your guys' pitching coming into the year, and there's been Romano's been hurt or not pitching well. Man, our guy Tim Meza came through the office, absolute dude, ripped it up last year to the tune of a 1.52 ERA. 8.03 ERA this year, DFA. Like, I don't know. There's stuff like that in a baseball season that literally feels like you can't control, and a lot of that has gone the wrong way for the Jays. So I don't want this to be like, targeted Yankee BS. We got our own issues. Where'd your hand?
Drake loses the beef. Maybe that's it.
Wow.
Got to go watch that video, people. It's just, gosh darn.
Let's do a little AL East Juicy Lucy, Trev. My Yankees get swept by my Reds. Okay. Yankees with
once you give us Yankees, I'll give us Twins, then we'll get into Tampa, Kansas City.
That's what the people want. And I want to circle it up with Boston too, who they swept the fish, and there's a big Yankees-Red Sox series this weekend, which we didn't think we'd be saying that this year. So that's interesting. Man, Yankees have been going down so big so early. Made up number that's oddly close to right. I would say 7 of their last 14 games, they've gone down like 5-0. So
I honestly think it's worse than that.
It's like, yeah, that was a safe number.
Conservative estimate.
That they've been going down in so many games, and with the offense just not clicking throughout, 2 runs feels like a lot right now. So going down 5 runs feels impossible, which is tough because they gave them a scare in the first 2 games. Down 5-0. They put up a 4 spot. Down 3-0. They put up a 2 spot. So that hurts. And hey, we talk about teams' formulas a lot right now. What do the Reds have? They've got Diaz on the back end, who it hasn't been his prettiest season so far, but he's still a guy. Cruz has been really good for them. That they got the lead to those guys, and they held on. And Noelvi Marte is back. So when we're talking about team dynamics, I know he hasn't even been killing it, although his homer is kind of the difference in the second game. Ellie's balling out. We just had him as the best shortstop in the National League. Jonathan India going nuts with the stick right now. And now that you got another body in Marte, and we see Will Benson, he makes a big play defense. Like, I don't know. The Reds are fighting for their season right now. It's what we've talked about with a few of these teams, and the Yankees are just in the baseball bad place, and they've kind of done this 3 years now in this part of the season that it's got people asking a lot of questions and nobody knows the answer.
Reds 3.5 back. I like, them getting reinforcements internally back and going into New York and sweeping. That's
Feels good.
Spark. That's a spark. Okay. Sorry about your Yanks.
It's okay.
Still in a wild card spot.
And if anyone thinks, again, we're just being over the top, oh, Yankees, you're overreacted. The record's still good. Lost 14 out of 19. That's
I said that about you guys. It was like 2 series that you lost, and people were going nuts. I was like, hey, you guys are overreacting. Now the reaction's warranted.
Sniff test was there. We've seen a lot of this Yankees team. What'd your Twins do to the Tigers?
The Tigers have been not playing good baseball. They actually get to Skubal in the first game. Argo hits the homer. They do enough to win that one. Simeons, Woods, Richardson, decent start. Correa hits a homer to kind of like put him ahead, and he's been great. It's been awesome to see. Excuse me. In the second game, Festa is a guy that has come up and supposed to be, he's our number 1 pitching prospect. Has been pretty shaky first 2 games. A lot of middle off-speed stuff. You just can't do that.
Doesn't work up here, son.
You just, like, I don't care how nasty it is. Like, you just can't throw it in the middle of the part of the plate. It gives up a grand slam, another homer there. I do have, Vierling also hit a home run.
Stop.
Had to mention that. But Brooks Lee came up in place of Royce Lewis, who has an adductor strain. If you don't know what an adductor is, I'm going to show you.
Okay. Oh.
Right here.
That I'm glad I didn't point, because I would have been very wrong.
Yeah. I've done it before. It's not great. It's a little groinish. Kind of runs all the way down the inside part of your leg.
I thought it was like the sex lines.
No, so yeah, no. What is that called? That's something else.
Got excited.
Anyways, yeah, he's out until at least through the All-Star break. Like, man, like, need that guy on the field. But because he's out, they bring up Brooks Lee, who was, I don't know if he's our top prospect or one of the top prospects. He looks good. Switch hitter, plays infield, fits right in with Royce out. I think he went 3 for 6 in the series. But Festa, he got shellacked. Just got to stay out of the middle of the zone, my guy. And then the last game, Kenta Maeda just got shelled. It was a rain-shortened game. Twins look good. I'm happy. The offense has been incredible. Houston comes into town. They're hot. Twins are kind of hot. We'll see how that goes. Good series coming up. Matt Vierling homer. Did I mention that?
Trev, you get me to October for the Twins, and Correa looks good, and Buxton's on the field, and Royce Lewis is on the field, and Jose Miranda is doing what he's doing right now. Like, it's a real lineup. I know we've done this a couple eps now, but man, those Twins early on were missing bodies and guys were not performing. They are now.
Yeah, I mean, they picked it up offensively. That's basically been what's going on. Big time.
Trev, let's wind down a little bit with the Tampa Bay Rays and Kansas City. Rays have introduced themselves to the chat. They're above 500. They beat the Royals, as I said on the way through, which lit up a little Rays light bulb for me, as they did it in two different ways. They outpitched them big one day, and they outhit them on a day that the Royals put up an 8 spot. And I said this part before, the names are starting to change. Brandon Lau is back, and when that guy's on the field, he's a constant threat. The Rays, who trade away Savale, who it was interesting to see in hindsight, they traded for Savale last year, and I think it was 2.5 years of him. And they had to give up a big prospect, Manzardo, who went over to Cleveland, top 50 prospect. And I know Cleveland, tough cup of coffee for him this year, but they still have high expectations. Savale having a tough year this year, less control. They flip him for a guy. I think he's now the Rays' 19th prospect we looked at. I think he was unranked in Milwaukee. I don't want to say addition by subtraction for the Rays, but it's also for them a little bit of like, we're the Rays and we don't care. That, I don't know. They're back in the season in Kansas City, just looking at the Sharks around them, and you might hear some more thing about Sharks later. I don't love where they're at.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I think they still have the makeup to stick in the race, but earlier in the season, obviously things were going much better for them. This was a fun series, though. We had some rain going on there, and I don't know why. Whenever I see the Rays play in rain, I'm like, what's going on? I just associate them with a dome. I don't know. That's just a weird thought I had. First game, kind of get the job done after the rain delay. Go up 5-1. Bilal puts them ahead. And the second game, Sal with like a little shooter. He's always so good with. What are his numbers career with runners in scoring position? Okay. Beavers, can you get those up? I feel like he's got to be really good. He puts them up 3. And then the Rays are down. After you look those up, Beavers, I got that video I wanted to show.
Your guy Isbell.
Salvador Perez runners in scoring position. That's 1,531 plate appearances. 295 batting average, 345 on base, a 492 slug, and 837 OPS.
Okay. So passes the eye test, or the eye test goes with the stats. I don't know what I'm trying to say. He's good with runners in scoring position. Shooter gets him up 3. Rays down 2 in the 9th, and then we see this. Oh my!
That's a real catch.
Goodness.
That's a real catch, man. That's
Isbell going out and putting the body on the line, Jake. And he knows where he's at. That's court awareness, if you will.
Ooh.
Right there.
Little snow
I
cone.
could never do that. You know how hard that is? You hit the track, which, by the way, a warning track is like the greatest invention in all of sports. Like, think about that.
Interesting.
If you didn't have a warning track, it'd be bad.
Yeah.
So the warning track literally warns you of the fence. But knowing what your full speed, how many steps you have to go to before you hit the fence, understanding, okay, I got 1 step in and I'm full speed. I got to go up in the air now and then brace myself for the wall, understanding when the impact is going to come. He snow coned that. He barely had in his glove, but you see the ball doesn't move, man. Like, he nails that wall, has the ball. I mean, game-saving catch for them. They get the second game. And then they fight back against the Rays late. in Game 3, but to no avail. That's just an unreal catch right there.
He looks like a person in one of those Velcro suits jumping into the wall, but he's not wearing Velcro, and that wall ain't soft.
Even if we went out to the field right now and I was like, hey, man, just go run out there and brace yourself for impact as you jump into the wall, your timing wouldn't be there. Like, it just takes rep after rep after rep. When I moved to the outfield for a bit, that was like one of the things I was like, dude, how do you fucking do this? Like, you have to have so much awareness around you, playing in all these different parks where like the angles are weird off walls and different types of fences out there. Yankees fans know that from Aaron Judge. It's one of the most unique things in sports, having to deal with all these different types of fences and terrains and cuts and distances. And even some of the warning tracks are different sizes, which is strange to me. They should be uniform.
I was just about to ask if they're the same length.
They're not, and they should
be.
So it looks like, and this is why people tune in, MLB formalized the warning track requirement specifying that all parks must have a 10-foot wide path or other material instead of grass. So I think that's 10-foot wide minimum. So
it could have changed since I've been done playing, but I mean, I definitely know that there's different size warning tracks when I was playing.
And you played after 49, so the term comes from there was an actual track built into Yankee Stadium when it opened in 23. Like, I think we were like, doing like Olympic type stuff. Outfielders found the track useful, and in 1949, MLB said we're doing it. So
everybody make this.
Is that not guys being dudes? That it also took 25 years to confirm that they like it as well. That's an AI Google answer, so I hope it's right.
I guess we need to let's find out, like, are warning tracks universal in today's game? I don't think they are. I feel like Target Field has a big warning track, a larger than 10 feet. But again, maybe in recent CBAs, they've changed that and said, let's make them universal, which makes sense.
Right. I've got another. It's just a similar concept to who invented the warning track. I've been playing a lot of chess lately. I've had some people comment. Actually, I've been playing on my phone. I've been playing someone who's a fan. They like found me on there on the chess app, and we've been some heated games. And I just had a cool moment. They said they're coming to the All-Star game in Denver, so I'm gonna get to meet my chess buddy. Why I started that conversation was...
Yeah, well, I was going to say flex, but
dude,
why?
Whoever, they don't know who invented chess because it goes back so far. And, dude, chess holds up. Like, chess is still a good game. That's insane. Chess, like, go... If you're bored today, like, if you're whoever you are, trying to get through the day... Look up who invented chess, and people are hot on it. They don't know which country. They don't know, like, one of the first things that got me was, like, there's a guy that they're like, he didn't invent chess, but he was the first guy who was good at chess. I don't know. It was a good search the other day. AL East, Trev. I guess let's round it off with a round picture because, again, the Red Sox did work to the Marlins, and we're not fully diving into that series because I think the stuff outside of it is more important. Devers we talked about it on All JM, but even for the last week, he's one-dotting. Rafaela looks like he might have turned a corner. It tees up for a big Yankees-Red Sox 4th of July weekend series in the Bronx with two teams sprinting the opposite direction. With the Rays back in the mix, so I don't know. I guess a little AL East check-in, and I guess what you're seeing, because I'm a little too close to it.
I love the Red Sox team. They're one of my favorite rosters in baseball. I like the way it's constructed. Brian Bayo had some quotes about how he's not dealing with his emotions the correct way this year. and he's letting them get the best of him. He's worked really hard to control them, and it's worked over years past, just not this year. Well, he goes out, and I don't know if it's a Marlins thing, but has a great start, 6 2/3, navigates 7 hits, so there was some traffic. The emotions there, maybe he tempered them a little bit. Only 1 earned run. He only walked 1 guy, so that's interesting. I mean, look, they kind of do everything well, and they, as we've seen, for your Yanks can be an absolute nightmare on the base pass. So look out. How many bases did Ellie De La Cruz steal this
Ooh.
series?
He had a couple
successful steals. At least 1.
Yeah, we thought it was going to be uglier. 2 stolen bases. Which again, the fact
he ran a couple times, some foul offs, ball got put in play during it. So he was running. He's Ellie.
Also homered. I guess we, talking Yanks recently has been a lot of not excited, don't like this. I guess I haven't fully processed how ugly this weekend could potentially get for the Yankees if they don't get a ball game or two. Excited for that. And how about this? I mean, if the Rays and Red Sox play coming up, that's going to be juicy. Rays being back in the picture is good for ball and our lock of 84.5 before the season. Texas.
Yeah, let's go Texas Padres real quick. Go Padres, go. Fingerprints all over, all that good stuff. I mentioned on the Baseball Today, I've heard through the grapevine that the Padres have like this secret, like Chris Rose called him a sugar daddy. After I explained it to him, a guy that's there, almost like a silent partner, or a minority owner. So that clip went out. Padres fans kind of what's he talking about? And then some of obviously we already know about this guy. His name is Alfredo Harpelou.
Okay.
He's another billionaire who's a minority owner of the team. And then apparently he goes a little bit deeper. He's Carlos Slim's cousin, and Carlos Slim, he only cares about, doesn't really care about baseball, but he loves the Padres. And this guy's got 19 bill or something crazy like that. So I think there might be a whole underworld in San Diego that we don't really know about that I love. And hopefully I'm okay with talking about that. It seems like it's common knowledge in San Diego, but I don't think the national baseball world knows that they have that, which is isn't that fun?
I'm so interested to find out any facts on that.
It's facts.
I don't use my Jeff Passan actual text a lot, but I may pry on that. And hey, Rangers.
Carlos Slim in 2012 toured Petco before the auction, and his cousin is a minority owner. That's coming from Aiden's Heart on X. So there's some stuff going on that I think this Padres team I love them.
Rangers are 17-31 since May 10th. Go do something. We're gonna see the vibes down there in a week and a half. A week? Jesus.
Even just over a week. One thing before you read that, Rays and Red Sox don't play till September.
Okay. Stay hot then. And stay hot with the Farmers Dog. Showed up yesterday for me. 4th of July. Are we delivering on the 4th? They sure did. And God, Noodle needs a little loving, especially around the 4th of July. Tough holiday for the pups. But he likes his Farmer Dog because it comes specially packed little bags for him. Says Noodle on them. He likes that. He's vain like his daddy. And take care of your pup, whether they're old or young. The Farmer's Dog, it's made for them. These dogs are all different. That means they need some different food in there, but they all want the fresh, higher quality food from the Farmer's Dog. And we like a deal. How about 50% off your first box at thefarmersdog.com/talkin plus free shipping? That's thefarmersdog.com/talkin. 50% off. There's a link in the description. Standout performances. What you got?
Oh, he kind of been all over the Cubs and like, guys, this is just not looking good for you. All this. We talk about their core. One of the guys that's in their core, one of our good buddies, I still owe him a bottle of French Bordeaux. I got to get him. I don't know how to do that, though. Can I just send the bottle
that's
of
a
wine?
soft answer. What would your North Star do? He'd post it on his, Evan Longoria would post in his Instagram story, how do I find some French Bordeaux wine?
If Evan Longoria knew that I owed Ian Happ a bottle of wine, he would. I think he'd like say, "Lose by number, you loser." Like it's coming up on 3 years. I haven't paid my debt. I'm actually very embarrassed of it. Ian, I love you so much. I need to get you a bottle of wine, bro. And it's gonna be. I think I said I'm gonna spend $112 on it. I gotta up the ante a little bit, right? Like tax.
There's interest.
Yo, it's growing.
Anyways, on the 4th, to salvage the series. 4 for 4, a double, 2 homers, 6 runs driven in, 2 runs confirmed. Ian Happ, hot boy, loves America. So I love Ian. I had to give it to him. How could I not?
Having having arguably his best season. OPS plus wise, at least full season. Go in, go. We're always rooting for Happer. Back-to-back Gold Glove winner. I don't know.
I feel like people don't know about that.
Again, it's become an interesting conversation, but you wonder who and what the Cubs would answer phone calls on if things continue that direction. Or maybe he and some of those Cubs kids will save the season. But right now, not hyped for them. 6 RBI. Whoa.
Yeah.
Good job, Happer. Joey Estes got mentioned a lot on the way through, but I was going to highlight him here because 9 innings, 0 earned runs, 4 Ks for a short, tall king. Instead, I'm going with my guy Jake Irvin for the Nats, who helped split up that Mets series, 4 games with 2 teams still kind of competing, definitely competing. Jake Irvin has been a dog this year. 18 starts, a 2.8 ERA, 106 innings pitched. I think if I butter knife him even more recently, that he has been balling. An Oklahoma Sooner guy, drafted by the Twins. Oh, that was high school. And then he went to college, got drafted by the Nats.
You were trying to knife me a little bit right there. I don't like that.
You've brought it up a lot that seems like there's too many guys around the league that had some Twins routes. His last 13 starts, a 2.18. Okay, I should have butter knifed it a little better. And I will say this endearingly. I told the Talkin Baseball chat, and I think it's just because I need the scope on my Nats changed. I opened up my phone for the first time on the 4th of July. And I open up X, and I see our guy Cameron Maben. He's been friendly with us. I love Cameron Maben.
I love Cameron Maben.
He tweeted out, he's like, man, Jake Irvin's balling. One of the contenders, he's playing his way onto a contender right now. Jake Irvin, 27 years old. He's under control till 2030. I think he's what the Nats are building here, Cameron. This is part of our core now, and I think it's going to be a big 2025 in the nation's capital, and we love a Jake. So,
okay. I was wondering if you're going to mention the Cameron Maben thing.
Yeah, it's not shots fired. I was just like, come on, Cameron.
No, because I think people still don't realize what Washington is like about to be doing.
It's coming.
Yeah.
It's coming.
That's fine.
Jake Irvin listed dimensions 6'6", 234. Big boy. And if I'm being honest, his name didn't sound like a right-handed pitcher to me. I'm getting Dane Dunning.
That's Cole. That's the Cole Irvin effect.
Okay.
Trev, we had a lot of our guys we love that got shot down for standout. Trey Turner, your guy Brenton Doyle, Christian Walker. But you might hear about some of these guys coming up in the best part of our show.
Dirt nasties on FUEGO. That means I'm on fire, baby. Like Waco.
I might have went back and hung with Nameless Jeff yesterday.
You back on the
Brought to you
wagon?
by somebody? Is this brought to us by somebody?
So this is it's a half test for you. It's brought to us by Corona, but it's kind of not. But we're so in with them, it's always brought to us by Corona.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So what we're gonna do here? I'm gonna read in Fuego, and then I'm gonna give you my one guy that's just a little bit extra for Corona extra. So we'll start this out in the series. How about our guy Brenton Doyle?
Yeah.
Colorado center fielder, 100 percentile in arm strength. Him and Nolan Jones. Who throws it harder? Harder. 7 for 11, 3 doubles, 3 homers. What? 5 runs driven in, 4 runs scored, a stolen base for the 2.4 on this series. Love that 2.4. How about Jesus Sanchez of Miami? They got swept, but he did good. Who cares?
Yeah.
7 for 13. I care. Double, a triple, 2 homers, 4 runs driven in. For the week and for like forever, it's Yordan Alvarez. Going to hear a lot more about him later. In this week, only 11 for 23, 4 doubles, 3 homers, 8 runs driven in, 8 walks, 11 runs scored. His 10th 3+ hit game of the season on Wednesday. It's second in the baseball, only behind Stephen Kwan. Because he just rakes. Great interview with Steven on Chris Rose Rotation, if you want to go check that out. How about Lennon Sosa of the White Sox? Okay, we're shouting out the bottom tier teams. Kind of love this. 11 for 24, 3 doubles, 2 homers, 6 runs driven in. And Brent Rooker on the A's. Talked about him a little bit earlier. 9 for 22. He hit 3 homers in the week, 5 runs driven in, 2 walks, and 2 bags. Are you swiping bags?
Brent
Rooker. Are you just straight up having a good time, Brent Rooker? Okay. How about for the 2 weeks? CJ Abrams. I feel like he's just been a mainstay here. 18 for 54, 5 doubles, 2 homers, 7 runs driven in, 13 runs scored, 9 walks, 4 stolen bases. My guy, Pablo Lopez. If he starts to turn the corner and becomes the guy we know he can be, look out. 2 games started, 14 innings pitched, only 6 hits, only 1 earned run, 23 Ks. Are you sticking me? For the .57 whip. Craig Kimbrell getting it done with the O's. In those 2 weeks, 5 games, 5 saves. That's right, 5 innings pitched for the 5.55er. How many runs did he give up, Jake? None.
0.
Don't even answer that question. 9 Ks. Holy my goodness. That's a run right there. He recorded his 438th save on Wednesday, passing Francisco Rodriguez for the 4th most saves in Major League Baseball history. Him and Kenley Jansen, they're just like Hall of Fame numbers. And I know they're good. Everybody knows they're good, but do they know how good they are?
No.
Okay. So here's my guy. For the Corona and Fuego player, he just went a little extra, and he's doing like way too much if we're being honest, okay? For the series, my guy, Christian Walker, like kind of sneaky hot boy, like in like the bear sense. Like
a man way,
Initially not like great looking, but like I bet he can fix a lot of things around the house too.
Yes.
If you can't do it, call the handyman.
He'll fix your face. You keep talking like that.
8 for 13 in the series, okay? 6 of those 8 hits, extra bases, a double, 5 home runs in the series, 9 runs driven in, 7 runs scored, 3 walks. He's got 19 homers at Dodger Stadium, tying him for Paul Goldschmidt for the most home runs hit by an active player at Dodger Stadium. Paul Goldschmidt's been playing a lot longer than Christian Walker. I have some numbers up about Christian Walker at Dodger Stadium because he owns it. He literally owns Dodger Stadium. He's started in 34 games, Jake. Okay. He has hit 19 homers in those 34 starts. He's got 32 runs driven in. He's hitting 341 with a 401, 783 slug for the 1.1 at Dodger Stadium. It's his house. Why would we gotta stop pitching to this guy for the Dodgers?
He had 3 walks like that. They kind of did.
That's insane. It's his best OPS at any other park besides Kauffman, or in Kauffman, Yankee Stadium he also owns, but these are like in 4 games, 6 games, something like that. He's played a bunch of games here. Obviously, they're in division and is just own Chavez Ravine. So he's my Corona extra player in Fuego.
Trev, marvelous work. I'll give you my notes that went through that. I guess I'll reverse engineer it. Christian Walker, did the Dodgers just sign him and tell him to retire? Because they got Freddie and Ohtani at first in DH. So sorry, we don't have a spot for you. We just can't watch you play anymore.
I like that.
Does Jesus Sanchez not give off big? And this is a little shots fired at the Marlins. If he got traded to Houston or Tampa, would we not circle him and be like, they're about to unlock something? Because it seems like he has all the tools, but it's just never fully come together. Lennon Sosa being on this list, Dalt, you are a sick puppy, but that's why I love it. And Craig Kimbrell, you nailed it. This guy's closing for the best team in the AL right now. And pitching well.
And how did they get him? What did they pay him? Like nothing, right?
He was like 13, 1 for 13.
Okay. What are we doing here?
That's not bad.
113.
Like it's my job.
We know Mark Vientos is doing well. We know Jaron Duran's doing well. Okay, can't highlight everybody. Don't yell at us. Elliot Ramos for the algorithm. Worst part of the show, the IL Toronto. One of the guys who has been playing really well, our young prince, IKF. He goes to the IL. You mentioned your young prince, Royce Lewis. He's on the IL. Milwaukee's young prince, Joey Ortiz, to the IL. Don't like that. Jared Jones, mentioned that on the way through. And, Dalt did this just for me. Otto Lopez for Miami. So they're going to feel that. Returning from the IL. How about A.J. Minter? Remember when that Atlanta bullpen just went perfect for a whole postseason and it was everyone found out Tyler Matzik puts his nutsack on everything. Garrett Mitchell for Milwaukee. This was like the first freshman we heard about. He's back for the Crew. Gabby Moreno for the Snakes. Massively important. Remember his win-loss split from last year? Alec Thomas for them too. Dean Kramer you heard about. Yaz for San Francisco. Jose Soriano, kind of gross for the Angels. That's who's back. Can we... Actually, the weekend already started, but let's turn it up a notch. Awards are brought to you by our Dan Patrick's partnership. You guys already know the name Dan Patrick if you've been in the sports world for the past X amount of years. We've partnered John Boy Media with iHeart Podcasts, and 2 of our John Boy Media shows can now be found under the Dan Patrick Show umbrella. Wake and Jake with me and Beebs talking a lot of baseball and everything else in the sports world. Jimmy's 3 Things, where he's diving into all the stuff that Jimmy dives into. You can find it where you found it, or you can find it with them. And it's been really awesome. They've really showed us to a whole different world of sports fans, which has been really cool. And maybe we're doing the same with them. So thank you to Dan Patrick and our partnership with them. Trev, who's got it for you? My award is called, it's a science show. That's what a lot of people always say. And I had the question, I saw some headlines about a shark attack, not in El Paso, but in South Padre Island of Texas, where 4 people got bit. I think they're all going to be okay. One lady got a chunk ripped out of her leg. I guess another guy was playing ball in the water, playing some catch. I don't know if it was baseball or football, but, having a good time. Shark says, nah, get out of my water, bro. So then I started thinking, there's always the expression, do sharks, they smell blood in the water? And I said, is that true? And the fact is, yes, they do smell blood in the water, but they can tell what type of blood it is. Is it fish blood? Ooh, they like that. That's food for them. Is it human blood? They don't really like that. They don't associate that with food, but they can smell it. from a long way away. Great sense of smell. There's a great book I always read to my kids about sharks. It's a Dr. Seuss book. Read it to your kids. It's great. They can smell blood from hundreds of meters away in concentrations as low as 1 part per million. We're not going to get started on what that means because I don't really know.
No.
Okay. So there was that. Okay. And then I started thinking, well, if they don't smell human blood and like it, but they go after fish blood, how can I relate this to my Astros? And then I started thinking, well, have you ever been fishing and you go out deep sea fishing, Jake, and you catch a tuna? Say you go tuna fishing. Okay. When you start to reel your fish up, you got one on the line, you got to combat not only that fish trying to get off your hook, but all the other animals out there that are trying to eat this bloody fish. Right. Seals are a problem. Sharks are a problem. You've probably seen social media clips where a shark comes and steals a guy's trophy catch. It happens all the time. The Mariners, they're fishermen. That's what the Mariners are. Their trophy catch would be the AL West. They're trying to get the AL West on the boat. But here come the Sharks. That would be the Astros trying to steal the AL West away. And my gosh, they are close to doing it. Since on June 18th, they were 10 games back. June 18th, people. They were 10 games back. On July 5th, they're sitting 2 games back. They didn't get to 500 until June 26th. All season long. Not like, hey, they were 1-1. They weren't 500 until June 26th, and then they went 12-2 in their last 14. Seattle has gone 4-10 in their last 14. Houston is smelling not the Mariners' blood in the water, but their trophy catch, the AL West Division Crown's blood in the water, and they like it. It smells good. Jake, what's your favorite food?
Oh, wow. Lasagna?
It smells like lasagna to them or to you. I don't know why I said that. Hunter Brown has been a big difference for them. We know about the Astros pitching injuries. Ronel Blanco's been a gem. Framber's been himself. But before that, it was not very good. Injuries. Arrighetti hasn't been great. Hunter Brown in April had a 9.78 ERA. Batters had a 1.038 OPS against him. And then May happened. He started 10 games since May 1st. 63 in a third innings pitch, 14 earned runs, 70 Ks for the 199 and a 569 OPS since that horrible April. He's turned it around. That's been a big one. Yordan Alvarez has been absolutely balling. On May 18th, Jake, his OPS was down to 748. He was looking like a mere mortal. That could be good. That's above average for the big leagues this year. That ain't Yordan Alvarez. He have a 978 career OPS. I'll say that again. A 978 career OPS. That is elite. We know that. Since he dipped down to 748 on May 18th, he has hit 361, 456, 708 for the 1.1 to get his numbers respectable up to a 939 OPS on the year. He's got 19 homers. He's got 49 runs driven in. He is coming. The Astros are coming. They're inevitable. They're smelling the division titles blood in the water. The Mariners, you better get that thing. Get the scaffolding out quick. Hook your fish. Get them on board, because if you don't, the Sharks are going to eat it all up, and you're going to be left with nothing but a hook. Go Astros, go Astros.
They're here.
We've been calling it, Jake.
They're on the boat. This is what they needed. 12 out of 14. Yainer Diaz on his last 24 games is hitting 330. It's everyone. They're doing this without Kyle Tucker. They're doing this without JV.
they said they're going to be gone for a little bit longer. He fouled that ball off his shin. They haven't missed him.
Picked up. They've picked up, which just proves how weird this sport is. Yeah, they're here. DraftKings has Seattle, Houston to win the division as essentially a pick 'em at this point. And I think if you asked any of the people on this show where they would put their money, not Seattle.
And we were talking about, are they going to sell Bregman? Dana Brown, his first year, has always said no.
They might buy from Seattle.
They might. They don't have.
They already did that. Remember?
They maybe get one of the pitchers.
Kendall Graveman. What do you guys want for Munoz?
Stop that.
I'm gonna stop that. Trev, great award. I'm going to give out the Rubber Band Award. Said there was going to be some talk about rubbers on this show. Man, it's a long season. There's a lot of ebbs and flows. I hope there's a time when I'm talking about the Yankees' bad streak this season instead of just living in it. All-time song, T.I., Rubber Band Man. When that came out, who-a-be. There's a vibe to that. And the vibes are high. You know, we're trying to find these little things that put together teams. Like, we kind of talked about St. Louis, and we weren't sure. Although I think I just found out today that they've won the last game of every set, which is close to what I'm talking about. 12 out of 13. The San Diego Padres were obviously close to their infield, working on their outfield. Higgy at catcher. This was one of my favorite stats I saw on the page today, so I wanted to bring it to light. San Diego is 7-1 in rubber matches this year. So you play 2 games. You're staring at the other team. If we win this, we've either got a happy flight or happy night. We've won the series. We've achieved our goal. We're doing great. Or you look around the drawing board and the fans are mad and you're kind of sad. And what are we doing? Are we in a slump? 7-1 in rubber matches this year. Coming off last year's San Diego team where they didn't know what was wrong and how does this happen? And we have so much talent. Man, that's important. And it's a huge part of them being positioned where they are right now, firmly in the wild card and a team that everyone believes in. So them and the Cardinals, basically. So that's why they got the Rubber Band Man award. Wild as a Taliban, 9 in my right, 45 in my other hand. Wild as a Taliban, can we say that?
Probably.
Okay.
Dude, I want so desperately the Padres to be like in it and in the postseason and doing a thing. They're such a fun team to watch. The way their roster has been constructed, they have some great personalities, I guess loud personalities on the team. They're just a fun team. So
some rich sugar daddy apparently.
They do have a sugar daddy, and a lot of people will point out to us they also like sell out every single game. So like that's also
it's
like
a baseball town.
Fans are the sugar daddy a little bit, and it is a great baseball city. And I will be visiting there, I believe, twice in August.
Oh,
so come check me out, guys. I'm all about it. I'm on board. I've been on San Diego.
You have been. It took me a minute. I'm
Surfliner goes from LA to San Diego. Check it out.
Yeah, is that a boat?
Yeah, it's a train. It's a train.
Nice. Wow. And again, I'm not great musically, but T.I., Rubber Band Man, whatever you like, bring him out.
I used to see T.I. all the time in LA. He's a short king.
Yeah.
A very short king.
And I believe he's a baseball guy. I think he's got some quotes out there.
Okay.
Or did he play a baseball guy in a movie?
Well, no, yes, he did. In American Gangster, he was like the cousin that was going to be the pitcher for the Yankees, but that's ridiculous.
Nelly said he could play. We'll check in.
Nelly got drafted. I've met Nelly.
In the Lou.
How about that?
Thank you, everyone. Happy 5th of July. Big weekend. Yanks-Sawks. Jeez. Hold on, people.
Like and subscribe right now.
Week and a half from All-Star Game? Then the deadline?
Sucks.
Woo-wee. Almost treadline season.
When are the stimulations going to start? I can't wait to hear dance to that music.
Don't do that. Don't do that on camera. Oh, no. That adductor.
I have my shirt off all day.
That's nice.